Hello everyone, welcome to another night of magic and excitement here at the Fireside Tales. Before I begin the tale, I have two very important announcements to make. First off, I'd like to say that these stories are now ear-friendly. It used to be these stories were meant both for the ear and the eyes, but now I consider this to be more of a podcast than a video show. And this is just for if you're, like, taking a run or if you're at the gym, just to have something to listen to. Anyways, I'm actually going to try to make this into a podcast show, but I haven't got the technology enough yet, and I'm figuring it out still. So until that time, I'm just going to go ahead and make these videos and do it this way, until we can figure out how to do it the other way. The second announcement I would like to make is that tonight's story is very important to me, because it's the story of one of my favorite storytellers of all time, Scheherazade, the teller of the 1001 Nights of the Arabian Nights. And not a lot of people realize that this story is, in fact, true. So that's the story that I'm going to be telling you all tonight, and it begins with a king by the name of Shayar. Now, Shayar was in love with this beautiful princess by the name of Jazir, and the two of them would take walks in the garden together and go down by the lake, and eventually, the king asked her to marry him, and she agreed. And anyways, just a few nights before the engagement, the king was walking by her bedchamber when he heard all these noises, and he busted the door open to find her with his brother. Well, anyways, the king was furious when he saw this, and the next morning he had the two of them executed. He had their heads chopped off. Anyways, after this, the king came to hate all women. And every night he would get married, and the next morning he would have the woman's head cut off. Anyways, this went on for many, many nights, many, many years, until finally the vizier couldn't find a single woman left who was willing to marry the king. And eventually the vizier's daughter, Scheherazade, offered herself as a sacrifice. And the vizier at first was reluctant to do this, telling her that, no, you can't do this, he'll kill you. But Scheherazade was insistent about it until finally the vizier agreed, and the king and Scheherazade were married. Anyways, that night, the king was getting ready to have her executed the next morning when Scheherazade began to tell him a tale. And the tale was a good one, and the king listened, and he sat at the edge of his seat, and just as Scheherazade got to the most exciting part of the story, she suddenly stopped and refused to tell the story until the next night. So the king decided to stay off the execution until the next night. Well, anyways, the next night came, and Scheherazade told the story, and then she started another story, and left it off at the most exciting point. So the king, once again, had to hold off the execution. This went on for many more nights, until finally King Shayar and Queen Scheherazade came to an agreement that she would tell 1001 stories for 1001 nights. And if the king liked the stories, he would let her live. But if he did not, she would be executed. So this went on for many nights, and during these nights she told some of the greatest stories that have ever been told. She's told Aladdin, Ali Baba, Sinbad, and as she told these stories, she began to put messages in them, mostly about courage, honor, trust, but also she tried to show King Shayar that just as some men are good and some men are evil, some women can be good and some women can be evil. And at the end of these nights, King Shayar finally agreed to let Scheherazade live. And so the two of them stayed married for many years. And then one day, a warlord arrived in the country, and the warlord's name was Arabian, and he came with a thousand soldiers. And he declared war on King Shayar. So King Shayar, he got his warriors together, and he set off for war. But before he left, he decided to grant Scheherazade her freedom, and said that she was now allowed to choose whatever life she wanted to live. Anyways, King Shayar and King Arabian had a great battle, and it lasted for many months, and all was darkness during this time. Until finally, King Shayar and Arabian met on the battlefield, and they sword-fighted each other, until finally Arabian stabbed Shayar through the stomach. And King Shayar fell down, a changed man, and finally his story at an end. Anyways, Scheherazade went off on her own into another city, and there she would have a brand new story, the story of her own life. And that is where the story ends. Again, a lot of you probably didn't actually realize that this story is very historical and very much true. True, it's a very odd story, but odd things are nothing new here at the Fireside Tales. And as always, sweet dreams and good night.